Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back to Let's Talk Wednesdays. My name is Melshanique Collins, and I am the CEO and family advocate of the G.R.A.C.E agency, where we advocate for families that have child welfare cases. We also help fathers to gain paternal rights to their children through legitimation, and we help to connect families to local community resources. So for those of you that have never came across any of our lives that we've done, every single Wednesday, what we do at Let's Talk Wednesdays is we allow different businesses, organizations, or agencies to share with you all the resources or the services that they have to offer and provide. Okay. And so that is what we're doing on Wednesday. So if you need any resources, you can always come on my page every Wednesday and check out what those resources are. Generally, you'll see in the post where we'll give a description of what that specific resource is, whether it's utility assistance, whether it is insurance information, whether it's housing assistance. You'll see and you'll be able to go through the videos if you haven't before and get the resources that you need. The reason why I started doing this with my agency was because I felt like families are in need in this season, right? Especially it is around Christmas time. And we're having so many families reaching out. Hey, do you have any information for tour drives? Do you have any information for, SNAP benefits or information for transportation or employment? And a lot of times there are so many great resources and service providers that are in the community, but you don't even know that they have these wonderful services to offer to you. And so we bring this information to the community because we know that's where everybody is, social media. So we bring this information to you in hopes that you will take a heed of it. Also, we do not give just regular information to a voicemail. Y'all, this is information where you can email or you can call an actual person at that particular facility where they'll be able to assist you and move you forward with whatever the resource is that you need. Okay. So definitely, if you've never came across our Let's Talk Wednesdays, go and check out some of our previous videos. You will definitely find a resource that you need, or for another family member or a friend that may be in need. Okay. So without further ado, you all, I am so excited and I'm so pleased to be having this discussion today. I always give a little bit of background information on how I met the people that I'm interviewing. And actually, I met Mr. Patrick Aaron Brown from Andrea Elam from Amerigroup. And if you all, you can go and watch that video, you all, where we did an interview, and she just gave all the resources and the wealth that Amerigroup has to offer. And then, one of the things that I think is very interesting is that most people, when they have insurance, they use it for the health part, right? Go get checkups, go get assessments, in just health reasons. But what I found with Amerigroup, you all, is that they have a wealth of resources that are available to you and the community that you need to take a part of. And especially if you are looking to, do other things that are outside your health, right? Or outside of dental. And so that is what we're going to be doing today. We're going to be talking with Mr. Patrick Aaron Brown. And you all, I'm going to let him introduce himself, and then we're going to go ahead and get into the questions.
Great. Thank you, Ms. Collins. I definitely appreciate the time right now to be here and to be present and to share information about Amerigroup. Again, my name is Patrick Aaron Brown. I am a licensed clinical social worker, therapist, and I also am a clinical trainer as well as the judicial liaison for Amerigroup. Now, as you said earlier, that Amerigroup is just not an insurance company. We are much more than just that. And hopefully, as this time ends, you can get more information about what that exactly means, what it look like for you as an individual or family, and how we can best assist your children. So let me go a couple steps back and kind of explain to you what I actually do. So I provide trainings to our community partners. And who are our community partners? DJJ, DFACs, CASAs, GALs, and court system as well. So I provide trainings about our services and how we can best assist them with understanding about the services that Amerigroup offers. Then I also offer trainings for our foster parents, right? And so information on mental health diagnosis, helping them understand what that look like for them and how they can best come up with ideas and treatments and more knowledge that can best accept them with working with their kids who may be having some issues or some concerns. So we kind of do more of that as well. Now, under the judicial liaison position, we are basically looking at life in a holistic way. And so one way to do that is to build bridges with all of our community partners. I mentioned some of them earlier: DJJ, the court system, CASAs, CPAs, child placement agencies, behavioral health providers as well. And often when our kids come into foster care or being adopted, the agencies that are involved do not necessarily talk to each other, right? So they kind of live in silos. And so by doing that, there may be gaps in service. They may not be totally aware of all the services that the kid is have or need to be involved in. So one of my tasks is to build those bridges, build those communication forms or platforms where the agencies can talk to themselves and try to address those issues so that we can look at the member in a holistic way rather than a microscopic way with that. So that's one of my tasks that I do with that as well. So what does that actually look like? So there are issues or concerns that, let's say, the court system may have, a lack of knowledge, then I will work, try to address those issues and concerns, bring it back to my team, and we will problem solve those things to make sure that we are continuing to be child focused and making sure that the services that are available are effective and efficient for the member and the families as well. So that is that part of it as well. So that's kind of exactly what I do in a
Okay.
nutshell.
Okay. Now when me and you had the discussion on the phone, I felt that it was very interesting the initiatives that you were a part of, because I feel like a lot of the community has their reasons on why they feel the way that they do about particular service providers, or whether it is the service professionals that are in the community, but they don't know exactly how to be involved. And so I want to talk about three of the initiatives that you are a part of. And the first one that is very interesting is the Blue Agents for Change. So before I even get into my questions, can you get into a little bit more information about what does that initiative do?
Yes. So the initiative, the Blue Age for Change, has been created to build connections and better bridges with law enforcement. As you know, law enforcement have a particular opinion or thought of who the community is, and
Mhm.
vice versa. The community also has a particular view of who law enforcement is. And sometimes those views may not connect or they may be in opposite ends. So the purpose of the program or initiative is to bridge those gaps so that we can create platforms where both parties can talk and interact and change some of those ideas and concepts about who each other is. So that's kind of basically why it was established.
Okay. And do you find that trying to get the community to collaborate, have discussions, or partner with law enforcement difficult?
This is a new step in what we do at the insurance company. So there
Okay.
have been some challenges because it's kind of new, right? People are not really familiar with this whole idea of an insurance company building bridges with the community, i.e., law enforcement.
Right.
So, but I will say that once we are engaged, the law enforcement population is eager to talk. They are eagerly to be willing to have these meaningful discussions. And so we try to make it um, very informative and very engaging, where law enforcement can come in and provide information on a topic, right? And the audience can then listen to that topic and or provide additional information as well to law enforcement. So definitely it is a collaborative platform where both parties can hear and listen to each other's concerns and thoughts and to
Mhm.
build better connections with each other, which is the goal, right? We want to make sure that everyone is on the same page and have the same common goal, which is safety, which is communication, which is providing the right resources that our kids needs, that our family needs, and it takes a group effort to do that. So we're not pulling people together to make that happen. for our communities.
Absolutely. So, was there anything in particular that inspired the creation of Blue Agents for Change from the insurance company? Was there a reason that they wanted to start partnering with the community in that particular way?
This started back in the political arena where George Floyd, right, Black Lives Matter time has occurred, and
Mm-hmm.
so that was a need that we felt that needs to happen, where we needed to bring in law enforcement and our communities together, and one way to do that was to do this program, this initiative. So it kind of sparked from that standpoint.
Okay. Okay. And from what you can see so far and how you intend to move in the community, what are some ways that you feel like you would like to get the community involved? Because, of course, a lot of different people have their own mindset and their own thoughts about law enforcement. I don't want to go and talk to them. I don't even want to be in the same room. I don't feel safe. I don't feel like they're for me. So, what are some things that you feel like you can do to keep the community, just being involved and being open to being able to have a conversation with law enforcement with all the things that, have happened that they have been privy to, or, based off of race, gender? How do you plan on keeping the community involved?
Well, thank you for that question, and I think it's a very valid question, right? So sometimes what we don't know is what we don't know. But when we start having communication with other people, then we begin to learn, and now we know, right? So more information we have equals more power, which equals more ability to bridge those gaps, right? And so
Mm-hmm.
one thing that we do, we try to find a topic that our community faces.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say that we had a topic on opiate epidemic, right? Georgia and across the country has that particular issue. And so we wanted to get information as to how our community partners can work together, as well as how law enforcement can assist us with addressing some of these issues and concerns. So it was a robust conversation that both sides can come together and say, hey, this is a concern, how we can work together to do that. So everybody have a voice. Our community have a voice, our family have a voice, our youth have a voice, our politicians have a voice. So this is a program or a platform where we can use that voice and try to build stronger bridges with that. And there are other topics we use as well, like gang violence in certain parts of Georgia. We
Mm-hmm.
brought in gang task force, which is part of law enforcement, to talk about how that impacts the community and what law enforcement can do and what our community and community partners can do to address issues such as that.
Okay.
So the big thing is basically communicating and taking a step out there and having a platform to have those meaningful discussions about everyone's safety and growth.
Okay. Now, if the community, has specific topics that they would like to address with law enforcement, will that also be incorporated as well?
Yes, yes, yes. Amerigroup definitely wants we're very open to hearing from our community partners. So if there's a topic or a concern or an issue, we definitely bring it to our attentions, and then we definitely can incorporate that. In fact, we want to meet the needs of the families. We want to meet the needs of the community. And so having that voice that you guys have and let us know that we can definitely include that into our programming regarding those topics like that.
Okay.
Um, like every member in Amerigroup 360 has a care coordinator, right? And so that care coordinator definitely is a person to contact as well to say, hey, this is an issue, this is a topic, this is a concern. How can I be heard? What can we do? What can we do collectively to try to resolve any issues that I may be having, or my kid may be having, or the family or the community may be having? We want to hear that. We definitely want to be a tool to be used to address some of these communities topics and concerns that one may have.
Awesome, awesome. Now, one of the other initiatives that we talked about that I feel like is very dear to my heart, especially when it comes to child welfare, and seeing the rise of grandparents now being caregivers for very, very young children, which, at the end of the day, I really feel like grandparents should have um, the they should have the leeway to be grandparents, but I'm seeing 70-year-olds having to raise 2-year-olds because we don't know what the parents are. And I feel like it's slightly becoming an epidemic. And so let's talk about the Grandparents Rising, and that initiative that you all have.
Yeah, once again, this is another awesome initiative that is needed, right? So
Mm-hmm.
again, we listen to our community partners, we listen to our family, we listen to our kids, and we try to come up with a way to address those serious topics and concerns. And so, one of the things that I do personally is work with our community partners. There are many agencies within Georgia across the state that target grandparents and they provide services to grandparents, and there's
Mm-hmm.
resources, and whether it's food, housing, legal aid, um, uh, mental health services as well, right? And so one of the things that Amerigroup does is to support those community agencies to making sure that the grandparents are heard, are
Mm-hmm.
listened to, and that their needs are being addressed in some way. So as a clinical trainer, what I do personally is I train or provide education to our grandparents. A lot of times when kids come into a grandparent home, they're experiencing trauma. When the kids
Absolutely.
come into foster care, they are experiencing trauma. So children are experiencing trauma no matter where they are in that status, right? Either in
Right.
foster care or you're in a foster care or you've been adopted, there's still trauma that has occurred. And so, one of the things that America is doing is working with the grandparents and the
Mm-hmm.
agencies to provide mental health diagnosis information sharing so that grandparents can understand what is ADHD,
Mm-hmm.
what is sugar, i.e., diabetes, what
Mm-hmm.
is PTSD, right? What is sexual abuse, and all those top topics that our kids may be experiencing. A lot of times, grandparents may not be aware of the lingo, they may not be aware of all the topics that come up, and people may not even understand what conditions are saying. And so one of the things that I do is kind of break it down. We kind of sit down and have a heart-to-heart, person-to-person conversation and kind of talk about their issues, their concerns, what they're seeing, and then we have good, valid discussions about what are some options, what is some education around mental health services that may be needed to assist. And if there's some assessments need to be done, we connect them with community partners that can get those assessments done. Again, more information you have or know or awareness, then you
Mm-hmm.
can make different decisions or even better decisions based on having new or more information.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, are there any challenges that you see when the grandparents are raising younger kids or kids that are teenagers? And I know that you said that you all provide information, you help to teach your grandparents on how to address certain things, or, just to keep them up to date. But are there any challenges when it comes to getting these services to the grandparents so that they can help take care of the children that are in their home?
So there's always room for improvement, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so since there's room for improvement, then we have to look at this as a holistic, collaborative effort. So we need to reach out to our community partners. So DFACS may be a community partner. Behavioral health services may be a community partner. The family themselves may be a community partner, right? And so
Mm-hmm.
it's important to have a valid discussion about what the actual needs are, and then come together as a team to address in a holistic way all the issues and concerns. So when I do hear parents saying that, yes, I am 72 and I'm caring for my 2-year-old, well, what does that mean, right?
Right.
What do you need? So the big question is, Grandma, what do you need? How can we help you? What can we do to assist you with having a child who's 2, right? And so then the feedback that we get, maybe I need daycare, I need childcare, I need extra funds to care for the children in my home. And then what that happens, we talk to our community partners, right? So there
Okay.
are several in different counties. There's some state ones all over Georgia. So we have those discussions about, hey, I got Miss Smith over here who is challenging with a 2-year-old and she need more family support, right? So then we work together to try to figure out how we can best do that to support our family. We want our kids to be in safe homes. We want our kids to be with family members as much as possible, right? But
Mm-hmm.
sometimes we need a little extra help, a little extra support. And
Absolutely.
so those community agencies can definitely provide some of those that support that they may need once we are aware of those concerns and issues.
Okay. And one more question about that.
Yes.
Something that I'm seeing when it comes to grandparents is that these children are being left in their home with no legal documents, no, and so when it comes to them trying to get assistance, they have no birth certificate, no social security card, they can't get food stamps or child care assistance because they have no documentation on these children. So, is there any recourse or services that can help them to either obtain documentation or go through the courts and get some type of custody or guardianship of these children?
Yes, yes. So that is not necessarily what Amerigroup does,
Okay.
but American can be an advocate to making sure that the family gets what they need. So if a family is connected with a, let's say, grandparents raising grandchildren organization,
Mm-hmm.
and so then they can definitely connect the parent with legal aid. They can connect the parents with attorneys that can definitely assist with some of those legal issues and concerns that they may have,
Okay.
and or address any other ones as well. Again, if there is a case with defect, not necessarily due to neglect, but for support,
Mm-hmm.
defects can also assist as well in terms
Okay.
of connecting them to the right thing. The biggest thing is using your voice to
Mm-hmm.
let people know what you need, and then our job then is to connect them to the right person that can address and help them with those needs.
Absolutely, absolutely. And so another one of your initiatives is Triumph 2.0. And I felt like that also is a need because you are seeing younger people, not just 16, 17 anymore, but you're seeing 8, 9, 10 year olds that are having involvement in the juvenile justice system. And the families feel like there's not support. I worked for DFACS for over 7 years, and one of the things I saw was as the child was getting younger and younger, there was more less and less support because they had to, let them go, right? They couldn't keep them there. But then parents don't want to come pick them up because they're like, well, once you send them back to my home, I don't know what to do with them. They're going to do the same thing, run away. I'm going to call you and you're going to take them in and then you're going to send them back. So give more information about this new initiative that you all are doing.
Yes, thanks again. I am really excited about this. Right, this is one of our uh, programs, initiatives that could have great impact. And
Mm-hmm.
so, before I start, I think it's important to start young with our kids. Right,
Yes.
start very young, give them the resources, give them the training, the education, the opportunity to start thinking in a different way. Right, being exposed to different opportunities that will foster different choices, will
Mm-hmm.
foster different outcomes that we want for our kids, right? A lot of times our kids see one way of thinking. They got the blinders on and that's all they see. But if you open the blinders, there are a lot more opportunities that they can partake in and use. So what the Triumph 2.0 pipeline to success is just that. We are opening up the blinders and giving our youth an opportunity to see different things in a different way and different opportunities that they have the opportunity to participate in. For example, let's look at um, employment, right? We help give youth different opportunities to connect to community agencies that does employment, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so some of our kids who are in foster care, who are now facing some criminal activity, we try to give them opportunity to kind of change some of that narrative and get them connected to a job that they like. We also get probably education on how members can react with law enforcement if they're pulled to the side to see exactly what to do, what to say. You
Mm-hmm.
know, when a young youth get pulled over, first thing what they want to do is run, or they want to do the opposite of what they've been trained to do, right?
Yep.
And what happened? That put them at risk. So we have law enforcement come in and try to educate them on what they should do if they're pulled over or they're stopped by law enforcement on the street, right? Some people want that they want to go to college. College is
Mm-hmm.
not for everybody, right?
Right.
And so the program offer other alternatives so that they can see that there are other things that they do other than the least career opportunities that they choose.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, drugs, and so on and so on. But anyway, so we want to give them other opportunities that they can do different things. So we're looking at vocational school, we're looking at military, we're looking at other careers that they can get into. One of our um, uh, employees, it does connect them with HVAC schools, so
Mm-hmm.
they can have a career or vocation that they can be self-sufficient with that as well. We also uh, let them know about their rights as citizens, right? We have attorneys come in and advise them on what their rights are. So it's different ways of trying to really get our youth to start thinking, doing, behaving, and being exposed to different things. So it's a really great program that is uh, in process.
Awesome. Now, one of the things that I see with the youth is that similar to kids, and these are ones that are not in foster care, but similar to the ones that have experienced trauma by being in the system, in the child welfare system, I have seen a lot of kids where they have not been necessarily involved with law enforcement, but they are heading down that path. So what are some successful ways that you all think that you may be able to engage the ones that necessarily have not been involved with law enforcement, but you can see that the different things that they're doing, the way that they're going is heading down that way?
Yes, great question. And so there is another component to Triumph 2.0 pipeline to success is mentorship, right? And so this is where we see youth who may be going in that direction, but haven't quite
Mm-hmm.
got that direction yet in terms of being in law enforcement. So
Mm-hmm.
another key, another avenue is to get the right people into to their lives that
Yeah.
they can have good role models, that they can have good people to see that they can do things different in their lives. So part of the initiative is having a mentorship program that will help them see real people in real life doing real life different things than what they are um, thinking about previously. So
Okay.
mentorship starts very early, and we definitely need more of that as well.
Absolutely, absolutely, because I've seen so many single mothers that are raising boys. And that seems to be the demographic. I mean, there's girls as well, but that are raising boys, but they feel like they don't know what to do with them, and they need another male figure in particular to come in and build some of those characteristics into them, or give them a want to live or have a different life. And
Mhm.
so is the criteria for the mentoring programs, is that something that you all outsource to the community, or is something that you all have in-house?
So it is sourced outhouse
Okay.
the community. So our mentor programs are something that we contract with and work with to provide that service for our members.
Okay.
But I will say this to everyone that's on the call that's listening. If you are a single parent or you see a child that's in need or could benefit from some kind of mentorship program, look at your resources around you. Talk to the man at the grocery store, talk to people at church, talk to your neighbors, talk to your uncles, right? And those
Hmm.
are more people that's in your immediate vicinity that can possibly do that, right? And so then if you want a more formalized mentorship program, again, coaches, Boy Scout, Girl Scouts, ministers, pastors, all those individuals can be a resource. The thing is, we got to let them know what the need is and then reach out to them and see if they can actually provide that. Now, if they can't, don't stop there. Go
Right.
to the next person, go to the next person again. Then eventually somebody's going to say, yes, I see a need. Let me stand up to the point. Let me be a man figure in this person's life so that this kid have opportunity to do things different, right? And so I think it's important to call the charge, our community, to do that as well.
Absolutely. And I really think that it's very important to build a community, and they don't necessarily have to be family members, but just
Right.
helping individuals that see a need and are willing to be there. One of the things that I talked about recently, just, in family conversation, is the village. That village that we used to have, that my mom used to have when she was younger, to be able to have the next door neighbor, help in and come and watch, or just like you said, the man at the grocery store that'll be able to take you in and teach you some things. that's not really available today. So it is important, like you said, to build your community of your needs, and don't be afraid to ask, because if you don't ask, you'll never know.
True.
Yes.
Very true.
And so now for all of these initiatives, do you have to have Amerigroup insurance? Because I know a lot of the things are outsourced and you use community partnerships and networking. Do you have to have Amerigroup insurance in order to partake in some of these initiatives?
So our program or our initiatives directly are for those kids who are in foster care, DJJ, and adoption assisted members.
Okay.
Now, saying that, but there are many resources in the community that you can seek out, right? Let's say you need a mentorship. There will be 100 Black Men, for example, might be a avenue for you.
Mm-hmm.
Or you can probably do a Google search or talk to some community service agencies that can also provide digital support for you as well, right?
Okay.
So they're mostly for this target population, but I would definitely encourage everyone to do more research and see what they can find outside the community, in their own communities.
Absolutely, absolutely. And so, what are some long-term goals that you all have for these initiatives? What is your plan to be able to reach the community through law enforcement or caregivers or just children that are in need of that support?
So I mentioned earlier that Amerigroup looks in a holistic way.
Okay.
So if we can make sure that all of our kids have the appropriate services and the effective services and the supports, then we are doing good by our communities, right? So we're
Hmm.
not only looking at the mental health, physical health, dental health, we also need to look in the community health. So if our communities are healthy, then there's a good opportunity that our families and kids could be healthy as well. So by
Absolutely.
doing that, these initiatives will definitely at least be a starting point to start spreading out that information, start getting our communities involved in making sure that our children have what they need to be successful, right? And
Absolutely.
typically starts at the home, right? It starts in your home. So it's important to kind of see what you're doing in your own home and then use that as a tool to impact the community in a different way.
Absolutely. And so for you, Mr. Patrick, what is the most rewarding aspect of what you do? Because a lot of your work centers around helping, right? Teaching, advocating, and sometimes it can be tiresome, but it can also be rewarding. So what's the most rewarding aspect of your work?
Ooh, good question. Um, I would say that for me, it is my passion to help.
Hmm.
And then by doing that, there are some rewards. Now, not all rewards are immediate, right? But you do it from time to time, move on from one situation, and you hear something good about a kid or a family that has been successful in the task. You know, oh, all right, that is good. That's a good outcome there with that. This job is not for everybody, right? So you got to find what your purpose is and find what your passion are. And I think this is what my passion is. So every day is a good day. Knowing that I'm out there to have an impact, knowing that I'm out there to make a difference in families and children's lives, um, which is my reward with my tent.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. And last question, if there was a service provider or community partner that you had not paired with that felt like they needed you to, come and help and teach some of the information that for people that needed it, is that something that you could do, or do they have to be connected to you already?
We are community based. We are virtual and face to face. So saying that. So that means that if you have one a particular topic or service that you need and would like to see, we can come out and do that. We can do it virtually or in person. So we're not really if you want information, we'll get it for you, right? We will create something to meet your needs and meet the family needs, meet the community needs. So the question is just basically letting us know, then we can reach out and make it happen in regards to the service that you would like to have.
Awesome. And if they wanted to move forward, how would they be able to get in touch with you? Or is it you, or is it someone else that they would need to get in touch with?
Well, if you put my email in the chat, then that would be great. Like I said as well, which is Patrick.Aaron, Aaron, at Amerigroup.com.
Yep, I'm putting it in there right now.
Yes. And then from there, let's say there's a particular agency that would want some training on Amerigroup services and benefits, then we have a collective team that can actually provide that, right? So
Mm-hmm.
I'm not working in a silo. There's a whole team that we support each other and making sure that our community and our regions has access to all the services and benefits.
Perfect, perfect. So I just put your information in the chat so that if they do, need your services or just want more information about what Amerigroup has to offer, I'll
Yes.
definitely let them know that they can get in contact with you because Amerigroup has a wealth of information. Just like Andrea was trying to tell me on the last interview, she said that there's a lot of services. It's not just for health in particular, but it's a lot, just like you said, holistically to help and address things that are within the family dynamic. And so I want to thank you so much, Patrick, for taking time out of your day to be able to give the community more information about the services and the resources that Amerigroup has to offer so that they can feel now that it's not just for, let me go get a checkup or let me get an exam, but hey, I have a child in my home and I need resources. Or, hey, I need, I want to be involved in what's going on in the community or in law enforcement. And now there's a way to do it. So, thank you so much, Patrick, for just joining us on today. And before we get out of here, do you have any last parting words?
Um, yes, thank you for the opportunity to talk about Mayor Group. I think we have a great agency here, and we want to provide and be a resource for our families and our communities. And I think this is what we're doing. We're being a holistic agency that not only looking at the mental, physical, dental part of it, health needs, but there's a lot more than what Amerigroup has to offer, like you said. And so we definitely want to make sure that everyone is aware of that. And if it's something that you do need, then we would definitely try to reach out and try to make it happen for you in terms of services. So thank you. I appreciate you very much.
No problem, Patrick. And I will speak with you soon.
Okay, thank you. Bye bye.
Bye.